Okay, everyone. Let's review the Washington Spirit versus Denver match in a little more detail. As I said in the short reaction video, this is a team that's very stagnant out there right now. They're disjointed. They don't look like they have an identity anymore. I couldn't begin to tell you what their plan is for how they want to control games or attempt to control games for that. The possession's not very great. They're very slow in build up, very slow in transition. And Bernal and Santos checking back for the ball. If they don't get it, they don't rotate out. So it ends up being very flat on that. Morgan's another problem in the back when she's on the ball. Her decision making is too slow. But to be fair, there's not a lot of movement in front of her. And it's like if they don't get the first outlet pass, they just kind of pass it around in the back and they don't know what to do. They're not playing Rodman in the game very well. She has quit 2 games in a row, shoulder slump. She could be hurting. I don't know, but you know as well as I do. A roster like this, being winless in 4, is not going to cut it, and especially if they don't get a win in this next one before they go into that break. Some heads could roll for this, and probably rightfully so. Because just because you lost Bethune, that's one player. You telling me you can't have anyone else be the playmaker, and they need multiples out there. I just don't see the leadership happening. It's a lot of disjointed, not connected play of 2 players here, and then they pass it off, stand around, do nothing. The next 2 players get. It's just not a very good team effort. Okay, the spacing's not great when they're moving the ball forward in transition. They do have any sort of counterattack at all, ever. And their press is lackadaisical at best. Too many times a player gets caught in no man's land where they were late even going to pressure the ball, but they decide to go, and it's a waste of time because as soon as they're halfway there, a pass beats them and they're out of the play. That's just maddening. I hate that type of stuff. They would be better off just when they lose the ball, everyone turning about face and running towards their goal and getting reset in some sort of low block or something like that, because it's shocking to see such little movement from a team like this. If I didn't know better, I'd say half of them are unfit because Santos is gassed 20 minutes into a game. Bernal barely moves. Rodman's not running. Kawasi's not running the last 2 matches. And Cantori's never that type of player that runs all day anyway. But they're just slow to do anything that they're attempting. But what I don't like is they are so vulnerable in defense. And if they come up against a team that's actually feeling it that day and a coach that's paying attention, if they press when Bernal or Santos has the ball, receiving it with their back, facing their own goal, 35 yards out, and press and trap, that team's going to get eaten up because they're just they don't scan. They're just oblivious to what's going on around them, and it's just way too slow. And again, I'm not in their training sessions. I have no idea what's being said, but it looks like a team that's confused about what they're supposed to be doing and the why of what they're supposed to be doing. So we'll see, and I hope we'll get a win because on paper, this team should be finishing in top 3, but you got to show up and play the games. And winless in 4 for the Washington Spirit with 3 points out of that. I mean, I guess you could argue, well, they're not losing. Well, they lost their first home opener, and they're also not getting quality opportunities to score goals. And that's going to keep haunting them because, again, without Kingsbury, you got to give McKeever some time to find her feet. And a way to help her confidence is put some goals against the other team so she has a little more cushion so she can settle in. But the lack of a real playmaker, somebody who's going to run their mouth and lead as well, that's what cost you titles when you should be able to win. And I hope Trinity is okay because she looks not just frustrated, she doesn't look herself. I don't know if that's partially the old sign a big contract, too much pressure, I don't know what to do anymore type of stuff, which would be just hilariously ironic and typical of players that go to pot after they've signed a big deal. But, again, get that win before the break or bad things could happen to this team as far as coaching staff goes. And that could be justified because they're no better. They're actually worse than they were last year. And you can't blame the injuries, okay? And if anyone knows when Hatch is coming back from maternity leave, please let me know in the comments because I'd really like to see her back. I think they could really use her presence right now. I think she'll get goals out of nothing for them if she's fit when she returns. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.